Hi, Dr. Osborne here, and I wanted to take some time today to field a question that we continually get asked about corn gluten. Is corn gluten safe for those with gluten sensitivity issues? Corn is commonly used as a supposed substitute filler in a number of pastas and cereals and bread-based products. So the big question is corn gluten safe for those with gluten sensitivity? And the simple answer is no, and I'm going to quote from you a recent research study that was just published in the journal Plant Foods and Human Nutrition. In this study, what they found is that maize is used as an alternative to wheat to elaborate foodstuffs for celiac patients in a gluten-free diet. However, some maize prolamines, or zanes, contain amino acid sequences that resemble the wheat gluten immunodominant peptides. In other words, the shape of the corn glutens are very much the same as the shape of the peptides or the glutens found in wheat that trigger the autoimmune reaction and can trigger celiac disease. They go on to say that the analysis indicated that other zanes, in other words other corn glutens, contain similar sequences or sequences that may bind even better to the HLA-DQ2, DQ8 molecules compared to already identified ones. In essence, what they found is that these corn gluten proteins bind to the same receptor responsible for triggering the autoimmune reaction in celiac disease. So to answer the question, is corn gluten safe? According to this recent research study, absolutely not. Some people will say that they eat corn and feel just fine, but I will remind those individuals of the term latent or silent celiac disease. These are patients that feel just fine eating wheat, eating gluten for 30, 40 years, and one day walk into the doctor's office feeling horrible and get the diagnosis of celiac disease, and their diagnosis was relatively silent, meaning they ate the food for years and years and years before the autoimmune reaction was finally set into place and triggered. So don't fool yourself. Eating corn gluten and not being symptomatic, if you're gluten sensitive, doesn't mean you're not having a reaction. It just means you're not having outward symptoms. And remember, outward symptoms can sometimes be one of the last manifestations before the disease process sets in. And once you develop an autoimmune disease, it can take 2 to 3 years to treat it and put it into remission. So if you've gone gluten-free and you're not getting better, you might want to consider those corn substitute products and getting them out of your diet. If you've been on a gluten-free diet, or at least a traditional gluten-free diet, and you claim that corn doesn't bother you, you might want to look at the research study. I'm going to post it down below so that you can go and read it for yourself, and you might want to reevaluate how important that corn is to you and how potentially detrimental it might be to your health. So I hope this answers the question about corn gluten, and feel free to write in your questions or concerns to support a gluten-free society.